Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with war number 6 of season 49, and Matrix has matched up against Salty. So we have been playing very well this season. We had a record of 4-1 going into this war, so it makes sense that we would get a higher opponent, as these guys are usually contending for a top 3 spot. But at the time that we matched them, they were 400 rating higher than us, which, like, I get it, you need to match together alliances that are winning, but this is just unfair. Especially considering that in War 5, we had an opponent that was 200 rating higher than us. We were like, oh, okay, this is just a bit of a mismatch. This probably won't happen again this season. Yeah, and then literally the next war, it's double that bad. 400 above us. And we know the numbers that Salty can put up, so we know that this is very likely just going to be a loss, but we are going to do our absolute best to just put up a respectable score and then move on with our season. And we have the team today of Hood, Sorcerer, and Kate Bishop. Now, usually when you see me with Hood, I have Mole Man to accompany me, and that's going to be the problem this war. The problem is I don't have Mole Man, and due to that, I am going to run out of bullets, and I'm going to pay the price. Because the main thing that everyone says when they have concerns about Hood is that he is not a champ designed to take a ton of fights in a war. And I agree with that. Because naturally, without any synergies, unless he is consistently fighting very buff-heavy defenders, he is not going to be able to keep his bullets. He's going to run out of bullets. But he has a way of getting around this with the Mole Man synergy, which gives you 3 bullets back on all knockdowns, heavy attacks, or special attacks. But when you're not able to send Hood, you have to be, to send Mole Man with Hood, you have to be very careful about the fights that you assign Hood to. And as a general rule, I usually tell my officer maximum 2 fights. And in fact, if it's a Maestro boss, you can't even do that fight. You run out of bullets. If it's a rank 3 boss, you don't have enough bullets to do it as an ascended rank 5 fight, which is kind of funny. Because you can do a rank 2 boss, you can't do a rank 3. But anyways, that's not really the important thing here. The important thing here is that if you do run out of bullets, you have to A, notice that you're out of bullets, and B, you have to tell someone. There, I just mistimed the parry intercept, but I noticed his unstoppable is on cooldown, so I was able to intercept him normally. Here he is at 90 charges. If he gets to 100, he does activate his power gain, so I'm just going to do my absolute best to not let him get to 100 charges, and he is going to die from this combo right there, so that went nicely. But basically, I already did the one fight with Hood, which was Black Panther, which is not a buff-heavy defender, so I am already down to 12 bullets. I'm going against this Nova, and I put on the Sorcerer Supreme pre-fight here. I was just trolling. I had no intention of actually using Sorcerer Supreme, although she absolutely could do that fight completely fine. I was just trolling. I like doing that sometimes, especially when it's with champions whose pre-fights don't cost them anything. Like, they can do it every single fight. For example, Guillotine. Who would be a bad example? But I wouldn't do it with someone like, let's say, Torch, where you only get it once. And obviously, if you put the pre-fight down and then you enter with another champ, it's lost for good. But I was just trolling here, so I decided to do it. But as you'll notice here, I am down to 1 bullet. And I'm going to end the fight here, and I'm at 1 bullet. And I don't notice. The reason I don't notice is because I'm so used to having Mole Man on my team that it didn't even really cross my mind that I would be low on bullets here. So I'm just going to go straight into this Gladiator after using an invuln boost. Or sorry, no, I bought Oh, I threw on an invuln boost, and then I bought an SP1 boost because it was back in the store, right? And this Gladiator Node 42 with Hood is not a hard fight. I've taken it before. I took it in war number 4. I entered the fight with 33 bullets, and the fight took 40 seconds, and I ended with almost full health. I threw 3 L2s, did the L2 cycle, and this fight went down. But as soon as I enter the fight, I notice I am out of bullets. And I'm thinking, okay, this is technically still doable. The way I have to play it is going to be really weird because I have to essentially just rely on Hood's basic attacks because I will not have bullets throughout the fight. Now, I will be able to get them sometimes, such as right here when I throw my L2. In hindsight, right there, what I should have done is I should have activated invisibility before my L2 because then I would have gotten a few more bullets back because I allowed him to get a few more buffs. But that was definitely not a fatal mistake in this fight, but he was not willing to throw his L2. It took him quite a while to throw it there. And we went all the way from having 3 or 4 prowesses to having 5 indestructibles on him. And while I did get a few bullets back there, he is just being ultra aggressive. I have no chance at all to do anything right here. I'm trying to hit into his block. I finally get to do a few hits. But I believe it is right here. He's going to throw the L2. And I'm going to eat it. I just messed up the dex. It's a dex that I get consistently like 99% of the time. But I just messed it up once. And at this point, I noticed that... I'm going to go back just a few seconds. I noticed that these DOT, the incinerates, are doing an insane amount of damage to me, and they're going to last for a long time, which means that there is no chance I'm surviving. So I have to kill him as soon as possible. And right here at the end of this combo, he has 4 indestructibles. I look up at my invisibility, realize I have 0 hits missed so far, which means that what I can do is I can hit into his block and do a medium light combo, and then instantly charge a heavy attack, and the bullet should detonate. Because as long as he doesn't dash back, he won't be able to hit me due to miss. So I do that, and watch what happens with the indestructibles. I get it down. Look, I get it down to 0. Charge my heavy attack as soon as I see 0. And the global comes back. The global comes back, he goes indestructible, and that heavy attack does 0 damage. Now, I want to be clear, there is no universe in which that heavy attack detonation kills. I just didn't have enough bullets, enough hexes stacked up. But it would have done a good amount of damage, and with the protection town, it probably would have brought him to about 40%, but I still would have died. So I do die to the DOT here. And yeah, unfortunately, I only ate 2 hits in that fight, and the DOT just completely melted me. I did not go back in. I went and I said to my officer, hey, I ran out of bullets, and this fight wasn't really possible. Technically, it was possible. I could have just dexed L2s the whole fight, but I would have had to deal with the indestructibles because I think the dex is 3 hits. Or like... You activate dex 3 times, so I would build up 3 indestructibles on every single L2. It would be really brutal, and it would probably take me about 3 minutes to chip this fight down, but like I said, still possible. And this death is really just because I didn't notice I was out of bullets. And if I had, I would have stopped before I went into this Gladiator fight, and I would have said, hey, I'm really sorry. I did want to take this Gladiator fight because it's a pretty easy fight. I have 0 bullets and I just cannot do it. I didn't notice, and I gave up a death because of that. Now, luckily, at this point in the war, it was already decided. They had cleared their war 150 to 7. They had cleared with 7 deaths, and at the time, I think we were around like 115, 120, and we had 8 or 9 deaths, and I think I was the 10th death. So my death didn't affect anything, and it's not like it cost me an absurd amount of units, or not units, but like revives and potions and stuff. But you know, it's still not nice to die. It's still an attack bonus at the end of the day that goes towards your alliance's war score for the whole season. And of course, personally, it hurts having a pointless death like this to a fight that I've done before, for the literal only reason that I died being that I didn't notice that I was out of bullets. As the previous time I took it, it was a simple L2 cycle fight. But yeah, 100% on me. Absolutely not the fault of my officer in any way. I want to be very clear. But we did lose the war with a final score of 7-14, which is going to make us 4-2 on the season. My death total is at 3. I've now died 2 wars in a row, and my PSR this season is at 37 out of 40 fights soloed, or 93%, and my deathless streak is up to 0. 0 whole fights in a row without dying. Yay! Because this was obviously my last fight of the war. So that's going to be all for today. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in war number 7, which I promise I do not die in. And I get to use Gambit, which is really cool. So I will see you guys later. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.